Hello, my name is Teresa, and in this video I will be presenting my permaculture design product for the Post Oak Antapodist Farmstead. This presentation will be a brief outline of my design, so please feel free to pause the video and read the slides. Those who will benefit the most from this information are those who are located in East Texas, those who have more acreage, those who are themselves going through the permaculture course, and those who are seeking a way to incorporate animals and crops in a more cohesive and ethical way. So the Post Oak Antapodist Farmstead is 20 acres located in East Texas. Our goal is to use earth-centric mutualist ethics that focus on fair share among not just humans, but animals and plants. This process isn't just good for the land, it's good for us too. So about me, I'm naturally curious and I love learning. When all the little pieces come together to create a whole system, I think that is very beautiful. So cycles are very important when it comes to tracking and controlling inputs and outputs, and without an understanding of them, it's impossible to create sustainable systems. The three main cycles are water, nitrogen, and carbon, but there are a lot more. SMARTer Goals is an acronym and tool used to format your goals. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound, ecological, and replicable. With such an ambitious design project, I want to focus on designing patterns to use for finishing the details. Phase 1 is the most expensive, but in regard to labor and not money, it is also the longest phase and deals with establishing the NOAA food forest. Phase 2 starts to bring in outside inputs and thus cost more money. Here we begin to start on the Antapodist succession farming while expanding the NOAA food forest. And in phase 3, we really start to iron out the NOAA food forest and the Antapodist succession farming. Antapodism is a lifestyle that deals with the relationship between humans and animals. We want to extend fair share principles in all areas of our life with the understanding that all interactions and choices affect and reflect who we are and our character. Fair share isn't about everyone being equal or everyone being entitled to the same share, but it is about getting your just returns. Antapodism is a concept created by William Schnack and inspired by Aristotle's term antapodosis, which explains the relationship between unequal parties, such as a child and a parent. But in our case, it may look like a milk cow and a farmer. Before getting into the nitty-gritty of my design, I would like to go over the permaculture ethics and some brief definitions. Permaculture is a philosophy of design where you fill in the details after understanding the patterns. Design is the intentional process of creating solutions and plans to make things work better. In permaculture design, you find solutions and you make systems better by working with the patterns in nature. These patterns lead us to the three ethics of permaculture established by Bill Mollison: earth care, people care, and fair share. I use earth care to reduce waste and reliance on outside inputs. I use people care to reduce time and energy wasted on things that do not move me towards my goals. And I use fair share by creating systems I call Antapodist succession farming. I would like to note that without humans practicing fair share amongst each other in communities, we cannot truly practice permaculture. We have to stop participating in a wasteful economy and create our own. So currently the stakeholders are my husband, my animals, and me. I created my own questionnaire, and on the screen you'll see a few of the questions along with the answer. The NOAA food forest is pivotal to my design and functions as a mitigation tool where success and failures can be found out on a small scale before scaling up. It also serves as a bank for seeds, cuttings, and suckers, as well as protecting stock in the case of extreme weather events. The hedgerows are going to serve several functions. It'll create fences for the rotational paddocks. It'll create habitat for wildlife. It'll provide extra berries and medicinals in the margins. And hopefully it'll create a place for small animals to eat out of as opposed to eating our crops. So the picture on the right is the base map with all the buildings and structures, And on the left is a zoomed in view of the front part of the property being utilized by us the most. So next we have the zone maps before and after, followed by a more detailed breakdown of how the zones are going to be structured. In this more detailed screen, we have Zone 1 being the personal yards, gardens, and homes, and I have the structures labeled. In Zone 2 is the food forest, hoop houses, etc. Zone 3 and 4 are part of the Antapodist succession farming, with Zone 3 being for plants and crops, and then Zone 4, the pasture. Zone 5 is going to be mostly wild area with some minimal uses. This map shows the topography of the land as well as the direction of the seasonal stream that appears when we get heavy rain. This slide is my sectors map and includes a shadow ratio chart. Next, we're going to be going over the microclimate maps, the before and after. The first slide shows the before microclimates, and the next slide shows what happens to the microclimates with the changes. My plan is to keep the wet and shaded areas untouched as a perimeter Zone 5 area, which includes a riparian buffer that runs through the middle of the property. We also plan to cut back the tree growth in the pasture to stop the natural succession and make way for our own Antapodist succession farming. The swells and berms will be built to move water to the more dry and sunny areas. The next two slides is going to go over the various resources. This first one is the ones that are located on the land. This slide goes over the local resource maps, mostly plant nurseries, the hardware and feed stores. So I've already identified many plant species, some of which are listed in the next slide. In the to-do list are important information that I'd like to gather to help me understand the land better. This is a brief overview of the flow chart and the kind of factors that go into deciding what to do and what to plant. So this property is all about the edges, and it is a mixture of woods and prairie, as well as being located in the Post Oak Savanna, which is between the Blackland Prairies and the Piney Woods. This screen shows an overview of the changes, some of which have already been implemented, as well as some that are going to need to be completed. This slide shows the key patterns I've identified in order to create the Noah food forest. Here are the important aspects of the Antapodist succession farming. A more detailed map and plan will be created after the swells and berms are completed. The next three slides go over implementation guides and the maintenance charts, all of which will be fine-tuned by maintaining proper journals and giving feedback. This slide goes over how we are going to handle changes. I have enjoyed and learned a lot this past year, and I would like to thank Heather Jo Flores for her amazing course and encourage anyone interested to check it out. Thanks for watching.